So it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Start getting those questions and comments loaded up, social media maneuvers coming down the pipeline a little bit later. However, we've got to talk about episode 4 of Hard Knocks. Among other topics, 53-man rosters have been set. Still movement going on around the National Football League. We'll get to all of that and then some. You are locked into the 197th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast that starts now. Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the 197th installment of the LouieTeeNetwork podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Lot to get to today, as yesterday was a really busy day. 53-man roster cuts were made yesterday. None more profound and impactful than the Cam Newton slicing and dicing in New England. Honestly, it is going to be interesting to see what happens. Does he want to play football? Where does he end up? Can he swallow his pride and ego and be someone's backup, because he's not going to get a starting job right away? He may ultimately start for someone during the course of this season, but be interesting to see how that shakes out. Some things happened. A bunch of trades happened. But since the last time we've spoken, a number of guys have gotten traded, and you may see even more of that. You'll also see some more guys being elevated from the practice squad. Those practice squad rosters are starting to shake out, and teams are seeing those players that they released clear waivers and then being brought back onto the practice squad. And you're going to see some guys on that practice squad be elevated to the week 1 roster. And you're also going to see some guys end up on IR, which means they'll miss the first 3 weeks of the season at minimum. And you're going to see some guys being placed on the PUP list, which means they're going to miss the first 6 weeks of the season. And that's going to allow teams to open up some more roster spots for guys that they may want to sign from other teams. So it'll be interesting to see how everything starts to shake out, when all is, said and done, when the dust settles, smoke clears, what all of these rosters totally look like, where some of these guys that were some surprise cuts end up. A lot of things left undecided at this moment, and I think we'll have more clarity as we get towards the end of this week and start heading into the week of preparation and the start of the NFL season, which is next week. So Harrison Smith got some bread, so I don't want to forget that. Harrison Smith got some bread a couple of days ago, it feels like now. Maybe it was yesterday. I feel like it was 2 days ago, though, before all of the cuts really started to take place. If you don't know, Harrison Smith is an all-pro safety with the Minnesota Vikings. I felt like he was a little old to be getting broken off. I wasn't sure. I thought I was tripping. I said, maybe I'm tripping. Then I looked, and I think he is 32 years old. But safety is one of those positions, and we've talked about there are, a certain number of positions in the NFL that you can play for a very long time if you take care of yourself. Safety is one of those positions. Look, I've talked about the cornerback position being no country for old men. Well, guess what those older corners tend to do if they've got that ability to do so? They make the switch to safety. And we've seen some really successful corners make that switch, i.e. Rod Woodson and Charles Woodson are two of the more notable corners to safety. Ronnie Lott early in his career was a corner, but he was really a safety for the vast majority of his career. But you don't see it as often anymore. But once upon a time, that was the thing. You become older as a corner, you lose a step, but you're a little physical and you've got eyes and you've got good feel for coverage. Yeah, go back there and play some safety and play the last 5 years of your career back there. So Harrison Smith is at one of those positions that if you're really good, you take care of your body, you can play that position for quite some time. And him signing a 4-year, $64 million extension kind of spells that out, that they don't expect him to go anywhere anytime soon. And hopefully he stays healthy and plays at a high level for the Minnesota Vikings. But, I'm a Harrison Smith guy. He's a Golden Domer. I'm a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan. So love the fact that a second-round pick out of Notre Dame has had the career that Harrison Smith has had and will continue to have, apparently, as a Minnesota Viking. So he got a big deal. Number of trades have happened. How about the AFC East with that Cam Newton move? getting rid of Cam Newton to open up the starting spot for rookie quarterback Mac Jones. The miggity, Mac, bow. They'll free up space for Mac Jones to start. Now, the AFC East is the first division since 1973 to start all 4 quarterbacks. I think back in those days, it might have even been 5 teams in the division. I think it might have been 4. I don't think it was as many teams back then. But since 1973, to start 4 quarterbacks in the division under or age 25 or younger. Think about that for a second. All 4 starting quarterbacks in the AFC East are 25 years of age or younger. The oldest being Josh Allen, who just got his second contract, just got up off of that rookie contract and is now in his second contract. He's the elder statesman of the division at 25 years old. Amazing. You've got Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, a couple of 22-year-olds coming in as rookie starters. And then you got Tua Tagovailoa as a 23-year-old making his first start of this first year as the into the season starter. So essentially, this is his first time starting going into the season as the guy. So it is amazing. Second-year quarterback, 2 rookies, and a 4th-year quarterback in Josh Allen. It is amazing to see how young that AFC East division is at the quarterback position. So we will see what happens with that division. And if the Dolphins are ready to make some noise, what about the Patriots? You know, they did this not because they just want to see Mac Jones. They think he's ready to take them where they want to go. And that roster, I've already told you, I think it's ready to go in terms of at least being competitive, looking to get back to the postseason. So in any event, enough of that. Shout out to all the Mob Squad members in the comment section. Really appreciate y'all for chopping it up with the kid. In any event, let's get to the gem dropping session. Shall we? I think we shall. Let me drop this gem on your melon. Open your mind. Let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, Louie T-double-E. Let me open you up. Get you thinking a little bit. So, Hard Knocks episode number 4, training camp with the Dallas Cowboys. Not my favorite episode. As a matter of fact, this is probably right there with episode 2. I really enjoyed 1. I thought 3 was the best thus far. 2 didn't really move me, and 4 didn't really move the needle for me either, but it sets the stage for the final episode, which is usually the most dramatic because guys are getting cut. But I don't think they did a really good job of attaching you to the young guys that were trying to make the roster. I think so much of the storyline was centered around Dak Prescott and, you know, his shoulder injury, which it should be. He's the star of that team, and as he goes, they go. And so I don't think they actually spent as much time this time around following around the young guys. And generally, that's what you get when you have a team with stars on it. Some of the best Hard Knocks episodes or series are the years where they don't really have a true star on the team. Like that year, I think I watched with the Kansas City Chiefs or the Cleveland Browns or the Miami Dolphins, the year where Chad Ochocinco got into it with his then girlfriend and ended up getting released, and it was awkward and it was crazy and everybody couldn't wait. Or the Raiders even, what was it, 2 years ago with Antonio Brown and his shenanigans. If you don't have a true polarizing star, I think it makes for more interesting fodder. Or unless you have a really big storyline. The Cowboys had a really big storyline. So when you have a big storyline like Dak Prescott's shoulder, it takes away from them being able to spend as much time building up the storyline of the, you know, young players on the bubble trying to make the roster. But that being said, I mean, they've devoted enough attention. I think they kind of spread themselves thin by doing it with 3 different guys. You know, Azul Kamara, Alacon, the offensive lineman, Isaac Alacon, and they also did it with Jaquan Hardy, the running back. So normally, I think they usually pick like 2 guys, but they did 3. Maybe I could be off. I feel like I haven't watched Hard Knocks in like 3-4 years. I haven't really been watching it as much of a late, but I'm back in the game now. So the first part of this episode was the COVID scare. And that's, you know, I don't really like talking about COVID too much because we hear about it enough. So I really don't like to talk about it all that much because it is what it is at this point. You know, people are going to do what they want to do. It's a shame because it exists. COVID-19 is real. Like, some people want it to just be this fictionary, made up, you know, thing, and it's not. And I thought what the Dallas Cowboys went through and what was said in the the episode was really, I thought, spot on when it comes to COVID-19. Like, a lot of people are treating COVID like it doesn't exist anymore, like it's over. And you start to relax. You know, you go out in public and you go into a setting where it's enclosed. You don't put on your mask, even if you're vaccinated. It doesn't matter. You can still have COVID and be asymptomatic, but most people don't want to wear a mask anyway. So whether they're vaccinated or not, they're not going to put their mask on. So, you know, you start to relax a bit, and boom, that's when something happens, and you realize, and it's just COVID's way of reaching out and touching you and reminding you the shit's not over, man. Just in case you forgot. I'm not sure, you know, but like Roy Jones Jr., for some of y'all must have forgot. So sometimes COVID has to reach out and touch somebody, you know, touch somebody close to you, or touch your ass and let you know I'm still here, live and kicking. So you might want to take the necessary precautionary steps. So I think that's what happened to the Cowboys, you know, and we've seen it happen around the league. Washington special teams coordinator Nate Kazar had COVID, and he had to step away for a little while. The Cowboys obviously had their defensive coordinator, and that was like a bleed over from last episode because he wasn't able to coach the preseason game against the Texans last week. That's when they found out he tested positive for COVID-19. So they didn't have their defensive coordinator in the last preseason game, nor this preseason game. He was out the entire time, Dan Quinn. And, you know, you saw what happened with the Tennessee Titans having an outbreak. And we've seen some other teams dealing with COVID and having some issues. So it's not over, essentially. And that's what this kind of reminded, you know, everyone of. Rico Dowdle, running back out of South Carolina, who was the third running back on the Cowboys depth chart, got injured in the preseason game against the Texans. Opened up an opportunity for one of the guys that they're following, Jaquan Hardy, as an undrafted rookie running back. And he played well against the Texans and kind of slacked off in practice, wasn't taking advantage of some opportunities. And then as we saw in the game against Jacksonville, the preseason finale, was able to go in there and make some plays. And I thought the most important thing he did was also help himself on special teams. It's cool to be out there running around, making plays on offense. But if he really wants to make the football team, he needs to show them that he not only brings value offensively, but also as a special teams player as well. And he showed that making a tackle, or as he said, I finally caught a body. So they showed him kind of having an opportunity and needing to make the most of it. One of the things I looked at in this episode, and I just chuckled, you know, it was Trevon Diggs talking shit. Because, you know, if you're a Washington fan, you know where I'm going with this. But Trevon Diggs loves to talk shit. I mean, this guy is full of drama, and I'm talking on a small scale. Like, he's not a troublemaker or anything like that. But I remember once upon a time, his brother was out of the country, and he sent shockwaves through the Washington football team fan base by putting out a post of Stefon Diggs in a Washington uniform. And, you know, the fan base ate it up. And that was all him. Stefon Diggs had nothing to do with it. It was all his brother, Trevon Diggs. And that's the kind of stuff that he's involved in, the kind of stuff that I'm used to and accustomed to hearing Trevon Diggs linked to. And so it was even funnier when in his rookie season, he's talking shit with Terry McLaurin. They're going back and forth, jawing. And then 2 plays later, Terry smokes him for like a 41-yard touchdown. It's not even close. And just him in practice talking about, you know, that Amari Cooper's not going to get a catch. He's not going to catch a ball on him. And Dak's, you know, egging him on like, really? All right, bet. What you trying to bet? And all of a sudden, Amari Cooper's a quiet, soft-spoken dude, don't say much. Now he's all riled up. And of course, he went out there and cooked his ass a couple of times, including a touchdown grab to end practice. And, obviously, Trevon Diggs, he talks shit. It never goes well. It never ends well for him. And so I got a nice little chuckle out of that. And then Amari Cooper was like, look, I'm sorry for having to do the man like that. And I don't talk. I normally don't say anything, but, he brought that out of me. So I had to do him. And he did. He did him nice and proper. So I just got a nice little chuckle at the expense of Trevon Diggs. Dak's back. That was one of the themes of the episode, that Dak is back in the saddle off of his pitch count and restriction and able to practice again. And, I want him healthy. I know there are a lot of Washington fans, Eagles fans, Giants fans, and fans around the league that could care less, don't want to see him healthy, want the Cowboys to stink. I want them to stink, but I want them to stink with Dak Prescott in the lineup. And more likely than not, if he's in the lineup, they won't stink. Okay, those two usually don't go hand in hand, but I want them at their best. I don't want any excuses out of them when they end up 7-10 this year or 8-9. I don't want to hear their mouth because they didn't have this guy or they didn't have that guy. I want them to have their best guy and still stink, because I still think there are issues with that football team. We'll see what happens, but I want him healthy. Okay. I've always said this about every major sport league. Okay. You need a proper villain. Without it, your league isn't as profitable or watchable. There's a reason the NBA wants LeBron James in the finals every year. Not just because he's LeBron James, that helps, but he's the villain. Just like when Golden State was on their run, they were the villains. You wanted them around because you knew they were going to attract eyeballs. I talk to my son all the time, and he's like, oh, man, Jake Paul is so trash. I said, but guess what? He says, I'm only watching because I want to see him lose. I say, but guess what, dumb? He got you. He's got you. Because that's what he wants. He wants to be polarizing. Either you love him and you're one of his millions upon millions of subscribers, so you're tuning in because you want to see Jake Paul win again, or you hate him and you want to see him lose, but you're tuning in. He's got your money. That's all he cares about. And for me, in the NFL, there are only a handful of true villains. Of course, the Dallas Cowboys are one of them because they've been dubbed as America's team, and everybody's like, who the hell christened them America's team? A lot of the younger fans and generation don't understand that, Roger Staubach was the guy back in the 70s, and he was Captain America, and that's how they got the moniker America's team. But a lot of the young guys are like, who in the hell christened them America's team? F the Cowboys. I don't love them. And so just off the strength of that, and again, I've said this, and I've caught flack for this, and I've said this a million times. There is no more profitable player in all of sports, in team sports. Let me be more specific, because when you're in a sport like the NBA, where it's more individualized, even though it is technically a team sport, those guys are out for self. You go out there, hey, look, I got my 35, my 12 and 11. I'm good. You hate to say it like that, but that's what it is in the NBA. So it's an individual sport that just happens to have 5 guys collectively on the same team. But how much ISO ball do we see? More teams have ISO ball than they do actually team basketball. Anyway, I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now. The bottom line is there is no more profitable position in sports than the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. And I say that because there is no other team in any sport. I don't give a shit what team it is. Lakers, Celtics, in the NBA, Yankees, Red Sox, Cubs, Dodgers, and MLB, or in the NFL, doesn't matter. Patriots, it doesn't matter. There's no other position in sports that you're going to get broken off if you're semi-good because you play for one specific team. The starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is going to make money if he's any good. Tony Romo, I stated this a million times, and Jerry Jones had the audacity, and I don't even know why I'm giving this the time of the day. I don't want to talk about this, so don't start hitting me up with comments in the comment section. But he said Tony Romo is a Hall of Famer. I know. What is he supposed to say? That's the wrong answer, though. Wrong answer. And I've already went on a rant on one of my podcasts when they inducted the 2020 and 2021 classes. And then on the 2022 first eligibility list, Tony Romo was at the top. I had to stop it right there. Wait a minute. Why is he at the top of this list? He's not a Hall of Fame player. Stop. End of discussion. And Tony Romo's got all kinds of endorsements coming out of the yin yang. He's been out of the league for years, and he's still getting new endorsements, Skechers and Corona, and some of this probably, his life as a broadcaster extended his marketability, but it still just extends from when he was the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott's got all kinds of commercials, all kinds of endorsement deals. Dak Prescott's won one playoff game. One. So I said all of that to say this. The Cowboys are only going to be as good as Dak Prescott. I want to see him back because we need a proper villain in the league. And with Tom Brady no longer being in New England, the Patriots aren't the evil empire they once were. So nobody really cares about the Patriots anymore. We have to have someone to hate. I don't think anybody is a better candidate than the Dallas Cowboys. Whether he's healthy or not, people are going to hate the Dallas Cowboys regardless. But it's only fun when the villain is actually supposed to be good. It's easy to kick the villain when he's down and, they've got no chance of getting up. That's not fun. Everyone took pride in watching the Lakers crumble in the first round of the playoffs last year. Now, it sucks when you get to the second round. You're like, oh, shit, LeBron's gone. We don't have anybody to root against. Well, I'll just turn this off. I don't need to watch. But it was fun while it lasted. So Dak being back is a good thing. Good thing for football, good thing for the Dallas Cowboys. I enjoy seeing that. Terrell Basham had a comedy set. I thought it was awful. I didn't think he was funny at all. Now, maybe that's one of those, hey, you had to be there and you have to be around the guys that he was telling jokes about, like DeMarcus Lawrence. And maybe his voice impersonation of DeMarcus Lawrence was spot on. I just was sitting there like, oh, I was supposed to laugh at that. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, the shit wasn't funny. But he's probably a funny guy for real. I only bring this up because at one point I thought of doing stand-up comedy. I don't know if I could do it or not. It looks easy, but there's nothing like getting up in front of people that you don't know and then having to make them laugh. It's not easy, and I imagine it's nerve-wracking. You've got comics that are the best at their craft, and they still go up there and bomb. They still go up there, and they're nervous. So, I don't know. One of these days, maybe I'll try my hand at it, because I think I could do it. Anyway, finally, the episode ended with the Jags versus Cowboys preseason finale. You got to see some of the guys that were on the bubble, Ben DiNucci and Isaac Claron. You got to see Jaquan Hardy. You got to see a bunch of guys out there that were trying to make the squad. So they all had their last chance. Cowboys got their doors blown off. They didn't play any of their starters. Much like Washington, they rested over 20 guys in that game and left their backups essentially to fend for themselves against the Jaguars ones, and Trevor Lawrence and company went in there and took care of business early. So it wasn't on the scoreboard a great performance, but some guys went out there and put some things on tape that gave themselves a chance. Obviously, we already know who made the roster and who didn't, but we'll still see how it all shook out next week. I always liked it when Hard Knocks was out in front of it, but it's hard to do that, because of the NFL schedule now. Hard Knocks usually doesn't have this issue because it's usually next week is the last preseason week, and then they can put everything together. But because we have this whole entire week with no game and there is no fourth preseason game, now Hard Knocks is a week behind, and we already know who didn't make it in. So there's no suspense. Like, we know who's getting cut, who's going to have the Turk give them a phone call and tell them to, bring your playbook to the, facility and clean out your locker. And here's a trash bag. Like, we already know what the situation is. But in any event, I thought the episode was ho-hum. It was meh. I didn't love this episode. Like I said, the third episode to me has been the best by far. And I assume the next episode is going to be pretty good because of, the drama of guys getting cut and things of that nature. And then showing the Cowboys getting prepared for the upcoming season. So that's going to do it for the gem dropping session. And you guys start lining up your comments. Use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. If you want to jump to the front of the line, you know how to do it. Super chat is the way to do that. We'll take a quick break, get a word from one of our sponsors, come back on the other side, and we'll jump into social media maneuvers. You are locked in to the 197th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I'll see you guys on the other side. I want to take this time to thank Manscaped for sponsoring the Louie T Network podcast. Attention listeners across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston, do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you've got zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Look no further than a Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped that is just taken off not only in the US, but Canada, the UK, and across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore. Inside this package, you'll find their 4.0 lawnmower trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system. First scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 lawnmower trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on your journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even your anus. You see what we did there? This 4th generation trimmer also features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on and off switch which can engage a travel lock and is even waterproof. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 4000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ear. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Pause. Don't forget to use Crop Preserver ball deodorant and their Crop Reviver to help your little planets on their A game while feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls and Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT at manscaped.com. For a clean Trinity and beyond, your space balls will thank you. Oh, man. Every time I hear that Manscaped promo, it cracks me up. I haven't heard it in a while. I was actually playing it in my ear this time. Normally, I don't play it at all. You guys can hear it, but I usually don't hear it. But that's the first time I've heard it in a while. And I remember when I was cutting that promo and I was thinking to myself, what in the hell am I actually saying right now? Oh man, it's good stuff though. It's great, clever writing because it gets you to laugh, if nothing else. You're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Anyway, I digress. If you're out there, first and foremost, I want to thank you for joining me on the 197th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. Do me a huge solid if you haven't already done so. Please hit the subscribe button for more great content. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and also hit the like button. It does not cost you a thing. If you're out there, it's social media maneuvers time. I'm a midday marauder. If you want your comment read on the air, use the hashtag LouieTLive to have it read. If you want to jump to the front of the line, you know super chats are the way to get that done. You know what time it is. So let's jump into the comment section and see what we have. We do have a super chat. There is no comment attached to it, but I really do appreciate Washington Football Team for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I'm going to read this comment, even though this one isn't the one. I think you just probably made a mistake. All good. It says, thank you so much. I have alopecia, stroke. Okay, that's news to me. I had no idea what that was. It says, I was really stressed, but I love football for Washington Football Team. You are really real and funny. I'm still laughing for Jeremy Sprinkle. Sprinkle me, bitch. Sprinkle me. Hey, man, I'm so glad that this show and this community that we've created can be a help to you, man. So I hope you're doing much better, first and foremost. And I look forward to chopping it up with you in the future, man. And I hope you continue to progress, get better. And I'm glad that this content can provide you a reprieve of sorts. So thank you for the support, Washington Football Team. Let's see now. I think that's the only super chat that we have. So now we'll get to any of the comments. So let's see what we got. Hashtag LouieTLive. Brian Say, thank you for being a member of the Mob Squad. My guy, Brian Say, also doing double duty as a mod. Shout out to my guy, Brian Say, who writes, AGG and Peyton Barber are safe on our practice squad as I thought they would be. I still contend that Peyton Barber is going to be on the active roster come week 1. We'll see. I could be wrong about that. And he could just be there as an insurance policy, similar to Lamar Miller last season. But all it takes is one game where we can't pick up a short yardage situation, and I think he'll be back active again. But we'll see. Good to know that he's available if we need him. And AGG, same thing. A guy that they want to continue to work with. We'll see if he can continue to get better and more physical and more aggressive, even though I don't know if that's something you can necessarily teach. Thank you for that thank you for that comment, Brian Say. Condoleezza Perry, we definitely in the building. You know what it is. Let's see. Any more comments? Kevin the PRF says, which starting rookie quarterback has the best season this year? Any Herberts this year? You know how I feel. I'm going down on the Zach Wilson ship. I told you that was the guy that I was most impressed with. To me, he has the least amount to work with, even though I think Elijah Moore has a chance to be in the consideration for Rookie of the Year, similar to the way Justin Jefferson was for the Vikings. I think Elijah Moore has a chance to be that for the Jets. And if he's that good, that means Zach Wilson had to be getting him the football. So Zach Wilson is my guy. That's who I'm going with. But obviously, Mac Jones is the easy, low-hanging fruit choice right now. But I'm not steering away from Zach Wilson, who I know will be starting week 1 for the Jets. And they know he's the franchise guy. They're going to give him every opportunity to be successful. And he's got all the tools to do that. So I'm going with Zach Wilson for sure. Mike Lowry, thank you for the comment. Writes, prayers up for Irv Smith Jr., man. That shit sucks. He was primed for a good season. P.S. I knew I shouldn't have drafted his ass. That's why you were so locked in on what happened to Irv Smith Jr., because he was on your fantasy. And no, you didn't know that was going to happen, obviously. The guy was tearing it up in the preseason. He was poised for a big-time year. So he was their third best option, which is why the Vikings felt the need to go trade for Chris Herndon from the Jets. They knew that this was the guy. Like, he had to be healthy, and that hurts. So they're hoping that Chris Herndon comes in and can fill that void. He's not going to be Irv Smith Jr., but they're hoping he can give them something at the tight end position. Because as I've talked about it, the Vikings have zero depth. If anything happens to any of their receivers, they're in the toilet. And they only got 2 real receivers. Now, they did draft Amir Smith-Marset. I'm anxious to see what he's able to do. But they got nothing out there outside of Adam Thielen and, of course, the aforementioned Justin Jefferson. So that's a big blow to them. And, yeah, prayers up for, to Irv Smith Jr., man. That's tough. He missed the whole season. That's a really tough situation to be in for sure. Thank you for that comment, Mike Lowry. I got a super chat here from Exciting Frog 1. Thank you for the super chat, Exciting Frog 1. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, "Hey Louie, what do you see in Cam Newton's future? Where do you think he will land, if at all?" Kind of talked about this ad nauseum on the bonus pod yesterday. We covered all of these bases already, but just to give you a quick recap, I think that Dallas, I kept saying Philly yesterday, and someone hit me up and was like, "Dude, did you forget they traded for Gardner Minshew?" I was like, I did forget. That's crazy. So Philadelphia is out of the equation. It's Dallas. I've given out options like Dallas, Houston, Seattle, Baltimore. Those are all, teams that come to mind right off the top of the dome. Obviously, if you are the Seahawks, you don't want to ruffle Russell Wilson's feathers, so you need to go to him first and make sure he's okay with that. And I don't think he would be okay with that. So I think Seattle's out. I think the Texans are good with their starting quarterback right now in Tyrod Taylor, but I know he's going to get injured. Are you comfortable with the Stanford rookie coming in and playing, 10, 11 games this year? Because more likely than not, with Tyrod Taylor starting the season, that's what's ultimately going to be your fate. If you get Cam Newton now, get him acclimated to the system, he can come in and give you a chance. The Texans are going to stink. So I don't know if they're really interested in doing anything but seeing if the Stanford rookie can play or not. So we'll see what happens. I honestly don't know where Cam Newton ends up or what becomes of him because, again, I mentioned this yesterday, got to put your ego to the side. If he's willing to be a backup, there are opportunities out there awaiting him. If he's not willing to be a backup, if he's not willing to swallow his pride at this point of his career, then it's over. And he may be okay with that. As he said yesterday, don't cry for me. I'm straight. And I believe him. So we'll see what happens. But thank you for the super chat. If you want an even greater detail, going into greater depths of that conversation, check out the bonus pod yesterday. We talked about Cam Newton for every bit of an hour. So let's see where we left off at. Right here, John Perez. Thank you for the comment. John writes, "You're going to try and tune into some college football this year since you're a Notre Dame fan. I'm going to pay close attention to LSU this year since Derek Stingley is going to be coming out in 2022. I try to watch college football when I can, but I'm so family oriented that Saturday, when the NFL season is going on, Saturday is really the only day where I'm not obligated to do anything because football is on Sundays. Obviously, that's a working day for me. Friday, I work on Friday, Monday through Friday. Well, that extends during the football season to Sunday through Friday. So Saturday is the one day that I don't actually have any obligations. I try to spend as much of that time with my family as possible. And so when I can catch it, I catch it, but I don't usually catch as much of it as I would like to be honest with you. So I'm going to watch early in the season because there's no NFL. I'm not working as much. So this week, I'm going to tune in to all of the games. Notre Dame plays on Sunday night or Monday night, I believe, against Florida State. So I'm going to watch that. I think we're completing our home and home with them. They came to us last year. We're going to them this year. We're ranked number 9 in the nation. So I'll be watching, but I'm not going to watch as much as I would like to. I'm not going to lie to you. But Derek Stingley was a guy that we talked about in his freshman year. Obviously, last year he dealt with a number of different things and COVID. I want to see him bounce back because he wasn't the same guy that he was in his freshman year last year. So I'd love to see him bounce back and get back to the form that made him arguably the best corner in all of college football as a freshman. we'll see if that happens or not. Thank you for the comment, JP. Rich, thank you for the comment. My guy Rich writes, breaking news. Please don't write breaking news in all caps if you're just going to tell us about jersey numbers. Okay. That's not how that's supposed to go. But I did see some of the numbers, and my guy Rich says new numbers. Milne gets 15, McCain gets 20, Hump gets 13, JP 32, Carter gets 1, and he doesn't deserve it. I've heard that you're supposed to earn 1. Well, what happens if nobody else wants 1? Think about that. I'm pretty sure he didn't have first dibs on the number 1 jersey. Nobody else wanted it, so he got it. I'm pretty sure if Antonio Gibson said, I want to change from 24 to 1, he'd get the number 1 jersey. If Terry McLaurin said, nah, I'm not 17 anymore, I want to rock the ace, he'd be number 1. But he doesn't want it. Nobody else wanted 1 on our team, so he got it. So it's not a big deal. The biggest deal there for me is the fact that we couldn't get our guy, Jaret Patterson, out of the 30s. We've had this conversation before. I don't want to go down this road again. I'm pretty sure he took 32 because of Maurice Jones-Drew. And that's cool. But I told you, I'm not the biggest fan of running backs wearing, 30s or 40s. Now, again, every running back is different. And some guys can freak it. We talked about Alvin Kamara rocking the 41. We talked about Dalvin Cook rocking the 33. Excuse me. We've got backs around the league that are beasts. Aaron Jones is 33 as well. You can get away with it if you're nasty. But if you don't, the number then just looks nasty. So hopefully he's able to make that work. Got another one from Rich. He says Cam Sims gets 11. Saw that as well. And I think AGG is now 18, I think. So we'll see what happens there. See if we got any more comments. Kevin, the PRF, says, just making sure, I think Washington football team's comment he meant for the super chat is 2 comments below his super chat. Yeah, and I figured that out. Anytime somebody super chats and there's no comment, I just start looking through the comments to make sure, because a lot of times that means they just made a mistake. Generally, people don't just super chat without saying something. Even if they're just super chatting to support, they still tell me, hey, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just supporting the movement and showing some love. But you're still going to get that. They're not just going to give me, a $5 super chat and then just walk away like, I got nothing to say. I'm not going to say anything. Just going to drop 10 on you and walk away. That's rare. It happens. It's happened before, but it's rare. Thank you for that, Kevin, the PRF. Got one from my guy, Ree. Thank you for the comment. Ree writes, Lou, what up, Ree? Says, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the most, I actually don't like singing that until we get towards Christmas. But you're right. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it is. It's been a long off season for me, battling some demons. I hope you're out there taking care of yourself, Ree. As I know there's some things that we've talked about in the past. Hopefully you're taking care of yourself and in a good mental and physical space right now. It's always good to hear from you, man. He says, but this time of the year always brings me solace. Are you pumped? Because I'm pumped. You're damn right I am. Bart Scott. Can't wait. Always good to hear from you, Ree. Let's see. Reading some of the comments. Oh, man. The word stank is funny to me. So it goes right in that same category with doo-doo. Anytime I hear somebody say doo-doo or stank, especially when I see stank, it's funny to me. Anyway, I digress. That's one of those non sequiturs. Got nothing to do with nothing. Rich says, wait a minute. You hate Bron? No, I don't hate Bron. I wasn't specifically talking about me. He's a villain, though. You can't deny that. He says, why peep the PFP? By the way, I also loved him and CP3. I know you hate that. Yeah, I can't stand CP3. Yeah, now that's I will cop to. I'm not a Bron hater, though. I like LeBron James a lot. Am I the biggest LeBron fan? No, absolutely not. And I will admit this. I didn't want him to win a championship early in his career. Like when he was going through the drought, as all great players normally do early in their careers, I was rooting against him so aggressively when he decided to do the decision and go to South Beach. I was so glad they choked against the Mavericks. I didn't want him to win that next year. But after he won that first title and broke through, all of that went away, and I was like, okay, good for him. But, I'm a Jordan guy, so, I wanted to make sure that Jordan's legacy was cemented. And so old man get off my lawn was kind of having a panic attack early in LeBron's career because he was that good. But I'm good now. He's not Jordan, he's not Jordan. So anyway, Gregory Lightbody says, it concerns me that we signed back David Mayo. I wanted Micah Kaiser or McKinney. It is what it is. Again, you've got to know that they cut those guys, but they still want guys for special teams purposes. I said this about Peyton Barber. I'm going to say this about, Mayo and some of these other guys. It's not going to shock me if a couple of these guys end up on the active roster on week 1. It's not going to shock me. They kept Shaka Toney, which was a surprise to me. I wouldn't be shocked if Shaka Toney is inactive week 1. Casey Toohill reportedly was back at practice and participating in team drills or positional drills. I shouldn't say team drills, which is a far cry from where he was last week when we left off. Him nor Curtis Samuel were in any positional drills. They were all on the side field working out along with William Jackson III. William Jackson III and Casey Toohill reportedly were taking part in positional drills. So it sounds like those guys are trending towards being ready for week 1, which I never doubted William Jackson nor Curtis Samuel would be. But Casey Toohill, I didn't know. So if he's healthy, I think they go into week 1 with 4 defensive ends. I can see Shaka Toney being down and a guy like, David Mayo being up. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not shocked by any of that, though. Anyway, I got a couple of super chats. So I want to take those. First one here is from Twin D. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Twin D, greatly appreciate you, who also writes. First things first, smash the like button. You heard the man. All right, hit that like button. Over 190 of you out there, only 69 likes. I don't know why I have to always beg for these likes, but I appreciate you, Twin D, reminding everyone out there to hit the like button. He says, second, I'm going to need some of y'all to get off the trap. He says, my trap bandwagon. Okay, so he's not creating any space for y'all. That's his bandwagon and his alone. He says, it's getting a little crowded on here. I didn't build it too large. He was the only person I know that was saying, hey, Troy Apke isn't going anywhere. And this was last year when everybody wanted Troy gone because of his safety play. Twin D was the only person saying, hey, y'all back up off my guy, Troy Apke. He'll be here for a while. And he's right. So, Twin D, salute, man. I got to give you credit where credit is due. You called that one way before anybody else had the foresight and vision to see that one coming. But I don't know if you're going to have to fend people off. There are a lot more Troy Apke haters today than there were yesterday. So I don't know if you have to make the bandwagon any bigger, but I do know there are some people that want on. So maybe you can make a little bit of space for them. Landry Balbin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Landry Balbin, writes, Louie, do practice squad rookies make more money than active roster rookies? Just for my football knowledge, as you know, I'm learning the rules. No, they don't. Not only do they not make more money than the active squad, practice squad players aren't guaranteed anything. They essentially work just like we do, and they get paid, by the week, essentially. So more so, whereas a rookie that's on the active roster come week 1, that guy's guaranteed his full salary for the entire season. Practice squad guys, you can get cut like that. They don't have to pay you anything, So no, practice squad guys don't get paid the same money as an active squad player at all. So There's that. All right, let's go back up, get to some more comments. See. I don't know. So Kevin the PR, I don't know how I missed this one. He says, do I believe the show caption or no? So what that is the 53-man roster plus the 16 players on the practice squad equal an NFL roster. A lot of people don't really talk about the practice squad, but because of the way the rules are set up now, before the practice squad wasn't that big of a deal because you couldn't pull a guy up on game day from the practice squad and make him active. You couldn't do that before. And you couldn't have NFL veterans on a practice squad. You know, there were restrictions as to how many accrued seasons a guy has played in the league. And if he played, you know, more than 2, he couldn't be on the practice squad, things of that nature. Now you can have a guy that's been in the league for 18 years and put him on your practice squad if you want. So it changes the dynamics of the practice squad and makes it even more important. I feel like the practice squad is an extension of the 53-man roster. Obviously, you don't have the same perks as the 53-man roster, you know, but at the same time, at moment's notice, you can be pulled up and be playing in a game on a Sunday. So I think the 69-man roster is how I view it now. It's 53, yeah, active guys, but those 16 shouldn't be dismissed either, you know. You're going to need some of those guys at the end of the day. At least 5 to 7 of those guys on the practice squad are going to be contributors for your football team this upcoming season. Got another super chat, I believe. I do. And it's from my guy, Twin D. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Twin D. Greatly appreciate you. As always, my guy, Twin D, writes, LOL, LT, only you would correctly note that there are more trap haters today than yesterday. I knew that would happen when Moreland got cut. And you know that's exactly what happened. Man, did they come out of the woodworks. If you thought people couldn't stand Troy Apke before, man, the venom was vicious yesterday. I was seeing all kinds of Troy Apke hate yesterday that I didn't even think existed. I'm like, look, as bad as Troy Apke was last year and people wanted him gone, I thought that was as bad as it could get. Troy's actually improved because he's no longer playing safety. He's actually playing corner, and he's not as bad at corner as he is at safety. And I think people have done a great job of going out of their way, including myself, to highlight just how good of a special teams player Troy Apke is, and still people don't give a shit. And what I've noticed over the last 2.5 to 3 weeks, I've really honed in on this. People really don't, most fans really don't give a shit about special teams. They really don't want to hear that a guy is a tremendous special teams player. They don't care. They only care when you're getting a 102-yard kickoff return dropped on your skull. Then they want to bitch and complain. They want to fire the special teams coordinator and they want to get rid of this guy and that guy. No, you should have thought about that when you were constructing your 53-man roster. And we kept telling you, you want to keep these guys because they're core special teamers. And you didn't want to hear that because you wanted to fall in love with some undrafted guy because he's a 4.3 40 dude. Well, that's what happens. That's why we're sitting at home and they're the general managers and, you know, ahead of the department of scouting and this, that, and the third, because they know what the hell they're doing. And most of us out here do not. I don't consider myself to be a part of that group, but there are a lot of people out there that don't care about special teams until it becomes a problem. Then they want to care. Well, it's too late. So thank you for the super chat and doubling up, Twin D. Greatly appreciate you. See. All right. Got to that one already. Laughed at that one already. Let's get to this one here. My guy Ree says, Lou, Romo was a damn good quarterback. He was undrafted. This is a guy who over the years worked his ass off to get better. He was on Dallas practice squad and became great. He has my respect. I agree with everything you said. That doesn't mean he's a Hall of Fame player. I can't stress this enough. I'm not diminishing his career, and I'm not saying that he was ass because he wasn't. He was a damn good quarterback. I agree with everything you just said. Undrafted out of Eastern, what was it? Eastern, I want to say it was Eastern Washington. think it was Eastern Washington. I'm not sure. It was Eastern something. Whatever the case may be, I agree with you. The problem is, just because you're a damn good player doesn't mean you're a Hall of Fame player. And that's where people get the conversation twisted up. Everybody can't get into the Hall of Fame. That's why it's the Hall of Fame. It's supposed to be very selective, and it's supposed to be restrictive. There should be a select group in. And Deion Sanders said it best. They're letting everybody in. You can't have this thing but still be prestigious if you just continue to let everyone in. I love the Baseball Hall of Fame because they're not just letting anybody in, man. They're stingy, okay? The guys that you look at and you say, oh, yeah, I know he's a Hall of Famer. He's getting in. But if you're a fringe guy, you had a hell of a career, you still may not get in. That's the way it should be. I think the NFL Hall of Fame is a little bit too lax. And it's turning into a popularity contest. Do I like this guy? Yeah, I like him. I'll let him in. Hell no. Tony Romo's not a Hall of Fame player. Really good player, not a Hall of Fame player. See where we left off now. JP, my guy John Perez writes, the Lakers have been villains for decades, and it continues into this new era of LeBron, Anthony Davis, and now Russell Westbrook. It sucked getting eliminated last year early, too. They're always going to be the villains. But it wasn't fun. Like, the Lakers weren't a true villain for the last – prior to Bron, they hadn't made the playoffs in like 7 or 8 years. It was crazy. I didn't realize how long it had been. But, you know, there were other villains that took their spots. Nobody really cared that the Lakers stunk every year. You know, Golden State stepped up and said, we're the new villains. And you had other, you know, guys swapping teams. And so you started hating them and that team as well. So other people stepped up and said, we'll take the role of villain. We'll pass the baton to us. We got it. But the Lakers, when they're good, they automatically go to the top of the list. Same with the Yankees in the Major League Baseball. They're good. They go straight to the top. It's easy to hate them. So I think a lot of people are glad that the Lakers are back to being good so you can hate them again. And I think they're going to get even more hate now because they got Russell Westbrook. And everybody feels like LeBron's trying to create one final super team on his way out. So we'll see how that goes. Got a super chat. This one is from Oh, wait, hold on. Got another one too. One that tried to slip through the cracks. This one is from B-Ball God. Thank you for the super chat. B-Ball God, greatly appreciate you. Who writes, isn't JD McKissick 41? Thoughts, LOL. He is 41, and it's nasty. I don't like that number on JD McKissick. It's fine. I'm not going to bitch and complain about it because it's JD McKissick, you know, but it stinks. I don't like JD McKissick being 41. But he wore 41 in Seattle. So my eyes got accustomed to seeing him in the 41 jersey. That's a thing for him. But 41 is nasty. But again, Alvin Kamara wears 41. So you can get away with it if you're Spodioti Dopalicious. Alvin Kamara is that. And JD McKissick led our team in receiving. You can do whatever you like. Yeah, if you're gonna put up numbers like that, you can wear whatever. You can wear 71 at running back if you're putting up numbers like that. So I got no problems with it, man. I got none whatsoever. Landry Balbin, thank you for the super chat. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Landry Balbin. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Landry Balbin writes, Louie, we don't need DeAndre Carter here. I'd rather roll with Wright. We already have 2 other slot receivers, and we signed a practice squad QB. Will we sign a practice squad QB? I don't think you necessarily need one because you got 3 on the roster. Would you like to have a developmental guy? Sure, but you don't have to have one because you got 3 guys. You know, your third string quarterback can take your scout team reps, or as Ron likes to say, your show team reps. He can do that. So you don't really need, you know, a 4th quarterback taking up a roster spot on the practice squad. But if they wanted to go in that direction, they could. But I don't recall seeing a quarterback. Let me see. I say that. I think they brought back your boy again. I think. Let me see. I don't want to lie. I know Nikki Javala had it earlier. So I'll just go to her page. So, no, they didn't bring him back. Good. Thank God. No, shucks. Steven Montez. So, no, they didn't bring a quarterback onto the practice squad, and I don't think they should. And I'm glad they didn't bring back Isaiah Wright. I told you I thought he stunk last year. He wasn't extraordinary. He was just extra ordinary. You can find an Isaiah Wright anywhere. So I'm glad they didn't bring him back. Thank you for the super chat, Landry Balbin. All right. Let's see. We left off right about here. My guy Ree writes, I hear you, Lou. Stand-up is hard. I have a buddy who did stand-up for 10 years, and he was miserable while doing it. It was physically and mentally taxing for him. Now, see, he was probably trying to do it for a living. That wouldn't be me. I would be doing it for fun. Something on the side when the spirit hits me, but it wouldn't be something I would be doing to pay the bills. That's when it becomes tough because it is mentally exhausting, because you got to try to figure out what makes people laugh. And if you're always searching for what makes people laugh, feels like it's a never-ending bottomless pit. And that's tough. That's a tough existence. It really is. Kevin, the PRF says, Washington football team still not the villains? Need to up our Snyder luxury box camera shots to hold our spot. Yeah, no. I mean, we were easy to not like, but we sucked. So, no, I told you, no one likes to kick the villain when they're down. We've been down for so long. What's the point? The only real villains are the ones that win. Because in order to be a real, true villain, you have to be able to pull people in to watch, to see you lose. But when you lose all the time, that's not compelling theater. Okay? Again, if you're already down, it's not fun to come and kick you while you're already down. Sometimes it can be, but most of the time, if you're always down, man, that brother sleep. He been sleep. He always sleep. I don't need to come over there and kick you. You're always on the ground. Always. You never fight back. So no, we're not a real villain. We're not a true villain. You go through all of the sports, even in the collegiate ranks. Why is Duke so hated? Because they win. That's why. Why are the Yankees so hated in Major League Baseball? Yeah, they win a lot. Lakers, same thing. Okay, Warriors had a stretch there. The only team that won a ton, and for whatever reason, and maybe because they were a small market and they didn't have guys that rubbed you the wrong way, and they played basketball the right way, they did everything the right way, was the Spurs. Everyone else, you wanted to see them lose if they were really good and they kept winning over and over again. The Patriots, evil empire. It wasn't just the fact that they were winning. They were deplorable in some of the things that they did. But at the end of the day, they won a lot. And that's why most people didn't want to see the Patriots win anymore. We're not that. So it's easy to leave us to our own devices over there in the background stinking by ourselves. Got another super chat. Or two, actually. Got one here from Armand Brown. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Armand Brown, writes, Lou, excellent as usual. Thank you, Armand. I really appreciate that. What quarterback prospects do you think we should take a look at free agency or draft, i.e. Garoppolo, Mariota? Excuse me, it's too early to really, talk about that right now. We don't know what kind of seasons guys are going to have. I'm not the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo detractor, but I'm not the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo fan either. I was much more of a Marcus Mariota guy, but, I was hoping he could have a second act like, the guy that he used to be teammates with that actually replaced him in Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. I thought maybe he could have one of those types of second acts to his career. We'll see if Jameis Winston can resurrect his career, another one of his buddies from that 2015 NFL draft. So for me, Mariota would, be more of the guy that I would be taking a look at, but it's hard to say right now. We don't know what's going to happen this upcoming season. We don't know who's going to be available this upcoming season. We don't know how the quarterbacks in college football are going to play in terms of positioning themselves for the upcoming draft. We don't know how good or bad we're going to be this season that will put us in a position to pull the trigger on one of those quarterbacks should we be in the market for one of them. So hard to really say right now. It's very early in the process. We'll have a better feel for that as we get towards the midpoint of the NFL season. Thank you for that comment, Armand Brown. Got a super chat here from 99 Problems Chase Ain't One. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. 99 Problems Chase Ain't One writes, my Hurricanes versus Alabama this Saturday. You watching? You're damn right I'm going to be watching that. I just want y'all to keep it relatively close for the first quarter, maybe half of football. And then they can, I know they lost their starting quarterback, I think, to an injury. But it's Alabama. So the next guy is probably super talented. And I just want y'all to make it close early. If they blow you out late, fine. But I don't want this thing to be 28-3 at halftime. That would really piss me off. He says, ready to see Davis progress, become that staple in the middle. Year 2 of Chase's sweat. Bart Scott. Can't wait. I'm right there with you. 99 Problems. Chase ain't one. Let's see. Let's go back to the comment section and see where we left off. Let's see. I think we were right here. I think. I'll keep going. Yeah. Billy Mack. What up, Lou? What up, Billy Mack? What number do you think Jared Patterson will wear? I think number 20 would look nice. 20 has already been given out. I think my guy, Rich, already gave us the numbers. Patterson is going to be in 32. That's nasty. But, it is what it is. I forgot who he said was going to be number 20. Somebody's wearing 20 already, though. So, let's see. Real Mark Wayne says, who do you think will have more yards, T-Mac or Curtis Samuel? If you're talking about receiving, it's Terry. If you're talking about total yards, it could be Curtis Samuel, but I just think Terry's going to have a breakout year, like one of those put him on the map type seasons, like 1,400. And I don't think Curtis Samuel's going to come close to that. I'd be shocked if he even had 1,000 yards receiving this year. So, because even last year he got the ball a ton as a running back. He still didn't have, 600 yards rushing. Probably had more like 3 or 4, max. So it's going to be Terry McLaurin without a doubt for me. Condo P, thank you for the comment, who writes, hilarious that Steven Montez was one of the only pre-Hall of Famer or farmers cut yesterday that isn't on the practice squad. I think somebody said he got picked up by the Lions. So that's why he didn't clear waivers. Somebody put in a waiver claim for him, scooped him up. So I don't know how true that is. I'm just telling you what was told to me. But that may be the reason why he wasn't brought back. I mean, he stinks anyway, so we'll see. Anyway, I digress. Got a super chat here from my guy, Martin Matthews. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Double M. My guy, Martin Matthews, writes, hey, Louie. What's up, Martin? Says, I don't just watch on Thursday nights, LOL. But, Louie, I'm so glad they brought back Wise and Rotimi. I think we're looking at Settle's replacement. What do you think? I was really impressed with both of those guys. Rotimi off the edge. Wise actually played end defensive tackle, so he gives you a little bit of that positional flex that Ron likes to talk about. I was impressed with both of those guys. I knew neither one of them were going to make the football team, but I'd like to see more, especially Routini, because I saw, and him being a fellow Monarch, I saw a little bit of explosion and burst and twitchiness out of him that intrigues me. So I'd like to see more of him, and he needs to get bigger. He's a really thin guy. I'd like to see him get stronger, but also not lose any of the twitchiness and explosiveness that I saw from him in some of those preseason games. So really, really impressed by those two, and I'm glad that they're back on the practice squad. Let's see. Gregory Lightbody says, how concerned are you about the Chargers? Very. I'm concerned about everybody on the schedule. We're not good enough to overlook anyone and talk about what anyone is or isn't. The Chargers are a really good, I shouldn't say a really good team. They have a ton of talent. We don't know what the Chargers are. They didn't play a bunch of their starters in the preseason. We know Justin Herbert is going into year 2. They got a brand new head coach in Brandon Staley. We think they're a really talented offensive team. I'm not 100% sure that is the case. They've got to prove that to me. I know they're super talented on defense. However, if they're healthy, they're problematic. We're going to see what they are able to do. I hope we catch them without having any preseason experience for a lot of their core guys, especially on the offensive side. I hope we catch them slipping in week 1 before they get their legs and bearings underneath them. They can take their frustrations out on somebody in week 2 and then thereafter. But I'd like to catch them slipping week 1 since they decided that the preseason was for chumps and wanted to play all their players in practice with scrimmages and stuff. I hope we catch them slipping. But I'm very worried about them. They're a very talented football team. So I'm very worried about them. Let's see. Reese says, Dallas Cowboys on banner night, Lou. The world is watching. The Dallas Cowboys are first on the hit list. Gonna be fun. I just need y'all to take care of business. That's a divisional opponent for us. I need y'all to take care of business. It's ring night. It's banner night, as you said. It's ring night. Even though you've already gotten your rings, we still call it ring night anyway. I don't know why. But I need y'all to take care of business. And I don't want it to be close. I want y'all to slaughter those boys. I want people to be talking cold, hard cash about the Cowboys and how bad they are defensively again after that game. So I'll definitely be rooting for you week 1. That is for certain. Let's see. Ree also writes, why is Peyton Barber on the practice squad? This guy is a warrior. He has a lion's heart, gives you everything he has on every single play. Ree, I've been telling them that for the last 2 years. They don't care. They don't want to hear it. He's not fast enough. He only does one thing, which he doesn't only just do one thing. But Peyton Barber is like the best friend that lives next door of the opposite sex. Really cool, almost like your best friend. They really like you, but you can always find somebody better. So you always overlook the person that's just sitting right there, and they're probably the best for you. They know you better than anybody else. They'll treat you better than anybody else. But there's something missing with the next door neighbor. Maybe they're not the best looker on a scale of 1 to 10. Maybe they're a 6. So you overlook them, or you take them for granted because you always know they'll be there. So you go out looking for something else. That's how I feel about Peyton Barber. There'll always be someone better than Peyton Barber. There'll always be a reason to go out looking because he's not a 4-4 guy. He's not a make-you-miss wiggle guy. But I know what he does do well. On 4th and 1, on 3rd and 1, I know he's gonna convert. On special teams, he's gonna give me everything he's got. I like Peyton Barber a lot. Understand that, Bree. The problem is there was someone better. His name is Jared Patterson in camp. He was better. And there'll always be someone better than Peyton Barber. Always. He'll always be around, though. And he's on the practice squad. So, anyway, let's see. Any more comments? Red Wings, 0-1. Thank you for the comment. Who writes, do you think none of our bigger cuts passed waivers because teams slept on them or they wanted to roll with their guys? That's 90% of it is, hey, we got our own guys we trying to hold on to. Unless your guy is a significant upgrade over the guys we cut, I don't want your stuff. I got my own stuff I've been working with for the last 3-4 months. I just want to hold on to that and keep working with it. Now, if my guy really stinks or your guy's really good and we're surprised he got cut, now I'm going to take your guy instead. But for the most part, everybody wants to work with their guys. They know the system. I know them. They know us. There's a comfortability with the guy that's already in your system, already been in your building, and he already knows everything. So if you've got to pull that guy up, he can contribute right away. Now, again, talent matters. At the end of the day, we didn't have guys that were super talented to the point where, oh my God, I can't believe we cut that guy. We kept all those guys. And most teams do that around the league. You can bet your ass if we would have cut Jarrett Patterson, if we would have cut Samis Reyes, those guys would have got picked up. But we didn't, and we knew that. So you get rid of the guys that you know more likely than not are going to clear waivers, and then you can put them back on your practice squad. That's why we did what we did. And most teams around the league do the same thing. You make calculated decisions because you play the risk-reward game. Too high of a risk, not a big enough reward if I cut Jarrett Patterson or Samis Reyes. The risk is I lose them. The reward is I get them on the practice squad. That's not a big enough reward for me to risk cutting them and losing them. So you put them on the active roster. Meanwhile, Jarrett, you look at Peyton Barber and you say, if I lose him, I lose him. I'll be fine. But nobody else is thirsty over Peyton Barber. When we found him on the streets in a scrap heap. So nobody wanted him before, so we're good. And they bet that they could release him and get him back, and they were right. They were right. Reese says Cam is too in love with himself to be a backup. He'd rather not play at all than sit. Too much for his ego. I don't know that to be true. That's been the narrative on Cam, that he's selfish, he's this, he's that. I don't know that to be true. I think that might be even a bit of a false narrative. I haven't heard one teammate come out and speak against Cam Newton and say that he's selfish, he's this, he's that. But again, that could be true. But I haven't heard that, and I don't think that's the case. At the end of the day, is he arrogant? Absolutely. And 95% of the athletes that play professional sports are arrogant. It's called athletic arrogance. Yeah, you think your shit don't stink. That's how you got here. At the end of the day, if he wants to play, he's going to have to swallow his pride and put his ego aside. If he doesn't, then it's over. And he has to be at peace with that. So we'll see if he can do it or not. Red Wings 0-1. I kind of wish Cam Sims kept 89. That will always be Santana Moss's number, but it suited Cam so well, in my opinion. I kind of got used to seeing him in 89 as well. So that's going to be weird seeing him in 11. But he felt like making the switch, and he did. And so we'll see how that number suits him and if he's going to create some new memories in number 11 like he did in number 89. See. Got another one here from Red Wings 01. I don't get why Moreland fans are projecting their hate on Trapp. It was really Torrey McTyer who outcompeted him for the position. You could say that, or you could say it was Daryl Roberts. You know, either one of those were a better option than Apke, but it's easier to point the finger at Troy Apke and blame him for everything. It's just easier. He's the scapegoat. People feel much better when they can point at a guy that they know the mob will agree with them on than to point their finger at the real culprit. If that's a unconventional or it's not the answer everyone else is fine with, going along with. So people like to be a part of the mob. And Apke was the easy, low-hanging fruit to grab and say, it's him. He's the reason Jimmy's not here. Get him. And everybody goes, hey, and they start charging, and they got their pitchfork in one hand, and the torch in the other. It was easy. But the truth of the matter is you're 100% spot on. It wasn't Troy Apke that essentially took the spot away from Jimmy Moreland. It was Torrey McTire's ascension to really the fourth corner on this team, if you want to be honest. And then, obviously they decided to keep Darryl Roberts as well as the fifth corner. So that's what it really boils down to. Somebody out here, I think it was Patriot Clips. I caught this after I said it, and I said this to myself. And I didn't say it out loud. I should have. He says, I think you just said some people think COVID is fictionary. When I said, is that even a word? As I was talking, I said, is fictionary even a word? And I just kept going. I should have said it out loud because it was funny to me. I laughed in my head, but I just kept going. I was like, maybe nobody will catch it. Of course somebody caught it. Patriot Clips caught it. You got me, man. Hands up. You got me. Fictionary is not a word, although it should be, but it's not a word. Pictionary is a game, but fictionary is not a word. I got a super chat here from my guy Twin D. #free trap. That's it. That's all he got to say. Free trap. He's not going anywhere. Anyway, I digress. Let's see if we got any more comments to take. I'll take a couple more before we move on to wrap up the show. See if we got any more. My guy Mike Lowry writes, yeah, Lou, I used to subscribe to that the coaches and GMs know more than us until I seen Jay Gruden, Manusky, and Bruce Allen's football knowledge. LOL. Well, they do. It's just that Bruce Allen was over. Like, Manusky knows football. He's just not a good coach. And we've all had that math teacher that's really good at doing math but can't teach it to you. That was Greg Manusky. He knows football. He knows how to play it. He knows how things should be. He just can't teach other guys to do it. And that's okay. Not everybody's meant to be a coach. Not everybody's meant to be a teacher. I've had my fair share of professors and teachers that know how to do the work. They just can't teach you how to do the work. That was Greg Manusky. Jay Gruden knows football. His problem was he was in a very incompetent organization. I actually don't think Jay Gruden is terrible, but Jay Gruden, his biggest problem is that he treated the players like his friends instead of like his players. There needed to be boundaries set. Deshaun Jackson can't be giving you wet willies at practice. We've never seen Bill Belichick get a wet willy from one of his players. I guarantee you that. That's a problem. You got to draw the line. They got to know that they can't cross that line. We can be cool, but at the same time, still, I'm coach, you're player. And Jay Gruden was too soft on the players. Practice wasn't tough enough. We talked about Club J. I don't think Jay Gruden was terrible. I just don't think Jay Gruden was what we needed. But Greg Manusky can't teach football, and Bruce Allen's a clown. So, let's see. Reese says, they don't let everyone in, Lou. Rondé Barber isn't in. He basically invented the nickel corner position. He changed the way defenses played, and he's not in. He'll get in, though. He deserves to be in. He'll get in. Trust me. You don't have to worry about that. And I'm at the forefront of Rondé Barber is a Hall of Famer. He'll get in. But trust me, the reason he's not in is because they're letting other guys in that probably shouldn't be in. That's the problem. Rondé Barber should be in, and he'll get in eventually. Everybody can't get in on the first or second or third, ballot. You got to wait. Sometimes there's a backlog of guys that have to get in first before you get in. And I think he just met a little bit of a backlog. There's a little bit of a jam. Like Ed Reed, the minute he retired, you knew Ed Reed was getting in line before Rondé Barber. They're not going to put in 8 safeties in the same draft class. You might get 1 or 2 out of the draft class or out of that class. And then next year you get an opportunity. So Rondé Barber will get in. But they're letting in too many people. JP, my guy John Perez writes, excuse me. Oregon's Kayvon Thibodeau is gaining steam as a potential number 1 pick candidate ahead of Rattler. Houston is destined to pick first in the 2022 with Watson likely gone, though. It's too early to know who will have the number 1 pick. It's too early to know who will be the number 1 pick. How many times do we do this every year where we got a guy, he's looking like the number 1 pick, and then by the time we get to the end of the college football season, that guy is barely in the top 10 as a draft. I mean, think about last year with the Miami edge rusher, and I get it. He didn't play. It was COVID, but Gregory Rousseau, most people had him pegged as the number 1 overall pick going into last year's college football season. He didn't play, and then he started testing, and everybody's like, ugh. And he goes damn near at the back end of the first round. So I just always remember Jarvis Jones. I think that's his name. I know it was J&J. I think it was Jarvis Jones. Georgia edge rusher, projected number 1 overall pick going into that year's college football season. He was funky that year. Then he got to the combine. He was funky there. He didn't test well. Everybody was like, ugh, he looked like a Steeler. And they took him in the first round. But he was supposed to be the number 1 overall pick. And we see quarterbacks all the time. Oh, yeah, this guy's going to be nice. And then we get to the draft, and that guy's the 3rd, 4th quarterback taken. I'm not sold on Spencer Rattler either, just so you know. He's going to have to prove it to me. So we'll see what happens. Anyway. Eastern Illinois. Thank you, Condo P. I knew it was Eastern something. I was like, it can't be Washington. I know their colors. That's not it. And I remember Sean Payton and him are from the same school. And it's Eastern Illinois. Sean Payton, Romo, and Shanahan all went there. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for that, Condo P. I was tripping. I couldn't think of it. It was escaping me. Anyway, got a few more super chats. I actually have a super sticker here from Andre Martin. Thank you for the super sticker. Andre Martin, greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. Got another one here. This one is from Calvin Krim. Shout out to my guy, Calvin Krim, for being a member of the Mob Squad. Greatly appreciate you, Calvin Krim. Writes, hey, Lou, my thought is since we didn't grab a linebacker from another team's cuts that we'll probably trade for one. Or, and this is just a thought, they're not going to do anything because they have a linebacker or two. Let me check the tweet one more time. We have 2 linebackers on the practice squad in Jordan Kuznick and Jarrett Norris. There are your 2 guys right there. 3, actually. No, 2. I said it right. Jarrett Norris is your core special teamer. I think he'll be active. And Jordan Kuznick is another guy that they like. And I told you guys in camp, I said, they like Jordan Kuznick. I was like, look out for him. And I was talking like maybe he'd have a chance. And then I kept seeing where he was playing, and he was always in with the, running with the threes. I'm like, nah, he ain't making the team. But Kuznick was a guy I told you I thought they liked, and they obviously want to continue to work with him. So they may not do anything at linebacker. They got 2 guys on the practice squad. So we'll see. They were supposed to keep 6. I thought they would keep 6. They got 6 if you count the 2 guys on the practice squad. Red Wings 01. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Red Wings 01 writes, word of warning, with all the talk about reinforcing the linebacker core, the Reuben Foster truthers are emerging from the cracks again. Oh, I know. I heard his name mentioned. He didn't even cross my mind until somebody brought him up like, hey, isn't Reuben Foster still out there? We should go get him. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. Uh-oh, here they come. They about to start coming out in droves. Nah, hopefully we don't have to deal with that. He's not a Ron guy. Period. End of discussion. I don't think that's something that we need to even discuss. I know I'm not going to put a lot of time into it because I know that he's not a Ron guy. Period. End of discussion. But in any event, that's going to do it for social media maneuvers. Take a quick break. Come back on the other side. Wrap this thing up with garbage time. You already know. And if you don't, your ass better call somebody. Backed by popular demand are the LTN exclusives platter of pools and leagues for the upcoming 2021 NFL season. First up, we start with the LTN NFL Weekly Pick'em Pool. No year-long commitment here. Rather, this is a week-to-week pool that allows players to pick winners of each week's games, including a Monday night winner with combined points, which serves as a tiebreaker. So essentially, you pick a winner for each and every single game, and then Monday night, you pick a winner and points combined between the two teams. That serves as a tiebreaker. The person with the least amount of losses wins the entire pot. $7 per sheet. Winner takes all, minus a $2 per sheet maintenance fee. No limit as to how many sheets you can play per week. So if you want to play 3 hands because you think that gives you a better chance to win, by all means, knock yourself out. Must have PayPal or Cash App to participate, as that's how you will turn in your money and that's how you will receive your earnings should you win. Link to sign up in the description of this video. Just head over to LouieTeeNetwork.net and hit the LTN exclusives tab if you don't want to hit the link down in the description. Next up, we have the 9th annual Louie T Network Soul Survivor Pool. I am 0 for 8 in this department. I am dying to get a win here. Survivor pool rules apply. So simply, you pick a team to get you through to the next week. If that team wins, you advance to the next week. You can no longer pick that team for the remainder of the pool, and so forth, so forth. The team you pick loses, you're then eliminated. Last player or participating member standing wins the entire pool. $20 entry fee here. Winner takes all. Must have PayPal or Cash App to participate. Once again, same thing. You need those two, one of the two, to pay and then to get the money should you win. The link is down in the description of this video to register for the Survivor Pool. Just need to either hit that link and it'll send you directly to where you need to go, or you can go over to LouieTeeNetwork.net, hit the LTN exclusives tab, and go from there. Finally, we go to the Don Dada, the granddaddy of them all, Winners and Losers League. Okay, this is a year-long league requiring weekly selections to be made for 18 straight weeks. So if you cannot make a season-long commitment to put in picks each and every single week, this is not the league for you. We talk about the NFL being a war of attrition and not being a sprint, but rather a marathon. That's exactly what this league is. A running accumulation of wins and losses will be kept, and the winner will be the person with the best win-loss record at the end of the season. Okay, winner will take all, will get the championship belt and the title of Winners and Losers champ. You're listening right now to the current two-time Winners and Losers champ, and I don't see that changing in the upcoming season. $25 entry fee. Must have PayPal or Cash App to participate for the same reasons I mentioned before. Link in the description to join this league. Go ahead and make sure you do that expeditiously. Get over there and sign up as quickly as possible so we can get all the particulars hammered out, and you'll know how many people are in it and how much money is going to be awarded to the winner, which is going to be me. And so, again, all of the pools and leagues, you can see the links down in the description and click those specific links to wherever you want to go, or you can just head over to LouieTeeNetwork.net and hit the LTN exclusives tab, and that will show you where you need to go, and you'll have all of the buttons directing you. Please read all of the different prompts once you get to those specific pools and leagues so that you don't miss any of the small, finer, granular details. That being said, that's it. LTN Exclusives for the 2021 season officially open for business. Please sign up. Let's have fun. But most importantly, let's get dubs. Bart Scott can't wait. Welcome back to the 197th installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. We are now in garbage time of the podcast. Couple of topics I want to bring to the forefront. Thought somebody might have hit on one of these during social media maneuvers. No one did. So we'll address them here. First up, how about Stephon Gilmore with the Patriots, man? Was put on IR. Or the Publix, excuse me. He's going to miss the first 6 weeks of the season. The Patriots are like, hey, we still listening. If somebody out there wants to take him off of our hands, hey, we still listening. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anyone's going to come calling, especially with him being hurt to start the season off. Maybe somebody thinks they have a chance to win a Super Bowl and they get in a crunch at corner. Maybe then. But right now, I don't think they're going to be able to pull that Patriot way mumble jumbo over somebody's eyes and hoodwink someone for a second or a first for Stephon Gilmore. Had he been healthy, I think they would have dealt him, and I think they would have gotten some really good compensation for him. But because he's not healthy, I think that really diminishes his value. So, lastly, Brian Flores had to actually pull his team together and tell them Tua Tagovailoa is our QB. Okay. The noise was so loud that he actually had to address his ball club and tell them that he's our quarterback amid the rumors that the Dolphins were sniffing around Deshaun Watson and seeing what it would take to get him onto their roster. I find that interesting. I find that where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that their GM, Chris Greer, was doing a little bit of digging as to what it would take and, figuring out, what does that say about Tua if that is the case? They just drafted him last year. I've contended, and I've said this all along, and maybe they just did their due diligence. They just picked up the phone and contacted the Texans and just to see what the price was, but they weren't really necessarily super interested. Just wanted to see. I don't know, but I've already said, and I've gone on record as saying that Tua is going to be the best second-year quarterback this year. It won't be Herbert. It won't be Burrow. It'll be Tua Tagovailoa. This isn't a great start to that argument that I'm trying to make, but I don't know if this really means anything at the end of the day. The bottom line here is I don't know what's going to come of the Deshaun Watson situation. I told you I don't think he gets traded until next offseason. But the fact that so many people were asking Brian Flores after the third and final preseason game about Deshaun Watson, that he had to then address the media and then walk off after saying what he said, and then feel the need to then go a step further and address his team means there was something going on. The noise was too loud because you can ignore outside noise if it's not loud enough. But they did the right thing. I think he did the right thing because you want to instill confidence in Tua. You want him to feel like he's the guy, and you need the rest of the team to rally behind him and say, yeah, this is our quarterback. Even if you are behind the scenes trying to see what it would take to get Deshaun Watson, you need Tua to feel like he's the guy. You invested a first-round pick in him, and you need to go ahead and back your first-round pick. So we'll see what happens, man. That's a very interesting situation. And just a couple of more guys to throw out there before we get out of here. John Brown and Carl Joseph were both casualties on the Raiders roster. It's amazing. Both of those guys were signed in the offseason. What the hell are the Raiders doing anyway? I don't know if those guys are any good for them or what, but Carl Joseph apparently did not learn his lesson the first time with the Raiders. They drafted him. They funked up his career the first time around, and he went back for seconds. Really? Oh, man. And gets cut by them this second time around after not being re-signed after his rookie contract the first time. Bashad Perryman got cut by the Lions. I'm like, what does that mean if you can't make the Lions roster at receiver? Ugh. He gets signed by the Chicago Bears, though, so we'll see if that works out for him. Everson Griffin, remember the big brouhaha about him coming back to Minnesota, having to apologize to Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins for things he said on socials? Yeah, they cut his ass too. Like, damn, that's rough. Malcolm Butler is on the retired list. For some reason, the Cardinals can't figure it out at cornerback. And that's not going to help them with Malcolm Butler being on the retired list right now. Desmond Trufant, speaking of corners, is out in Chicago. One of the guys that they thought were going to come in and help them have depth after moving on from Kyle Fuller this offseason. His dad passed away. Condolences go out to him and his family on the 15th of August, and he really hasn't been right since. So that's a tough situation to be in. Just your family and life comes before football. And apparently the Bears is like, yeah, you're right, but we don't have time to wait. So, and a bunch of trades. You know, Minnesota traded for tight end Chris Herndon from the Jets. Talked about that. I like Chris Herndon, especially early in his career. Really haven't seen him do anything the last couple of years. So hopefully he'll step in and help the Minnesota Vikings. Jacksonville trades for Sidney Jones from Seattle. So that the cornerback that was a former first-round pick by the Philadelphia Eagles is going back to the place that made him famous, essentially, where he starred at UW as a member of the Huskies. Maybe he can, redirect his career, because right now it's going off the rails, and he could end up out of the league if it doesn't work in Seattle. The Giants' offensive line is falling the hell apart. They trade for Billy Price. I think they made another trade for another offensive lineman. They've got issues up front. That's been noted, and they're essentially acknowledging the fact that they've got issues up front by all the trades that they've made over the last week or so. And so the Jets, remember, they lost one of their edge rushers. I want to say they signed my guy from Auburn, Carl Lawson, I think it was. In free agency, he gets hurt. So they replace one Lawson with another Lawson. They trade for Shaq Lawson, who I'm not the biggest fan of. He signed in the offseason with the Texans. Well, they went ahead and moved him to the Jets. So back to the AFC East for Shaq Lawson after spending his first 4 years of his career in Buffalo, last year with the Dolphins. Now he's with the Jets. So want to give a couple of quick shout outs real quick. One to my guy, Andre Martin. Stand up, Andre. You are officially in the building as a brand new member of the Mob Squad. Want to thank Andre Martin for his contribution and membership as a gold member of the MOBB Mob. Y'all know what to do. Show some love to our newest member, Andre Martin. Big ups, Andre. Welcome to the squad. Also got another new member of the Mob Squad. This one is Mike Tassus. Thank you for your membership, and stand up, Mike. You're now a member of the Mob Squad. Greatly appreciate you for becoming a silver member of the MOBB. Y'all know what to do. Mike, welcome aboard. Thank you for your membership and becoming a silver member of the MOBB. With that said, I'm going to glide to the side and allow you guys to enjoy the rest of your evening. If you're a Washington fan, I look forward to chopping it up with you a little bit later on as the NFC East Super Friends unite tonight for an NFC East roundtable of epic proportions. Should be a ton of fun. Hopefully you will have the time to join us. Bart Scott, can't wait. In any event, I will catch up with you guys later. Look forward to talking to you on Friday if I don't see you tonight. In any event, I'm letting you know, I think I'm going to take a vacation after tonight's show. Maybe, maybe not. But I got a lot of stuff going on, and I think this will be the last chance to take a vacation because shit gets real next week. There are no vacations after Monday. Once things get kicked off after Labor Day, it's full go for the next 6 months. Well, September to February. So September, October, November, December, January. Yeah, 6 months pretty much. And really, you could tack on another 3 for the draft. So yeah, I think I might take a break. So you may see me on Friday. You may not. Just thought I'd throw that out there. In any event, get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Take care. See you next time.